Did you know that, according to one version, Airsoft originated in Japan? After World War II, the Japanese used toys for training, because post-war regulations restricted them from using real automatic weapons. In modern Japan, like in the United States, Airsoft is a full-fledged sport, so items like the APS Thor grenade launcher are quite common. For $95, fans of Airsoft battles get a weapon for 40mm grenades. And not a simple one, but with a trigger mechanism that allows you to shoot 150% more effectively, according to the seller, and the range reaches the 100-foot mark, comments say. Next up is a weapon by SSK Industries. The company is confident that they've made the world's largest caliber rifle. The weapon weighs from 77 to 119 pounds and fires 950 JDJ 24.1 by 75mm cartridges. The bullet mass is about 8 ounces, which is heavier than an iPhone 14 Plus. Not surprisingly, the rifle is nicknamed TRex Killer. If scientists managed to clone dinosaurs, people would hunt them with this weapon. However, it will be quite expensive. Back in 2015, one cartridge cost $60, and the rifles were custom made and dangerous. One can easily get injured just by the recoil. Here we have a coil gun. Shooter enthusiasts could probably tell you a lot about this kind of weapon. This specific model was made by a team from America, and the price is impressive, $2,515. So, what do they offer to customers? It's worth noting that the manufacturing company was founded by two former officers of the US Air Force with extensive experience in aerospace engineering, so the weapon turned out to be even more impressive than many game versions. Up to 13 rounds per second, shot speeds of up to 246 feet per second, a computer control system, and more than 300 rounds on a single charge. The gun is optimized to fire variable caliber steel armatures, 0.2 to 0.3 inches in diameter and 0.7 to 0.9 inches in length. A full liability waiver may be required from the end user prior to shipment, and that's no surprise at all. Here is the competition of the previously mentioned coil gun. Only this Railgun costs less, only $1,600. The manufacturers are confident that this is an affordable price. They're selling faster than we can assemble them, their website states. The model weighs 7 pounds and has a range of about 40 feet. One charge is enough for 500 shots, and the total battery life will be enough for 50,000 shots. Sadly, you can't change the battery yourself, so you'll have to go to a specialist. On the other hand, this coin gun is not a firearm. It's practically silent and doesn't produce any recoil. However, it's only sold in the US. This piece of weaponry was presented at the 2018 SHOT Show, the world's largest trade show for shooting enthusiasts. What do you think of this rifle for caseless, but not quite ammunition? It's called FDM-L5, and some publications even claim that the US Army was interested in it. The ammunition used in this model consists of metal charge blocks with 5 bullets each, and if you think about it, how is this block different from a case? The magazine holds 6 of them, so the total capacity is 30 bullets. The emptied block goes aside and a new one takes its place. The system works in 3 modes: semi-automatic, automatic, and firing 5 rounds at a time. It sounds as wild as it looks. Not only does the FDM-L5 have 5 barrels, but it can also be multi-caliber. For example, one barrel is perfect for calibers 5.56 and the other for 7.62. It's the ideal weapon for various shows and exhibitions, but it's hard to say why the military's interested in it. Here is another spectacular creation. This semi-automatic grenade launcher was also shown at the SHOT Show. but this time a little earlier in 2014. It's a 37mm caliber model, and one of its features is that it's not gas operated. The trigger is responsible for both extraction and seating of a new shot. That's why it requires 2 fingers to operate it. The box magazine has 6 magazine slots for various types of shots, and the grenade launcher seems to be intended for riot control. Apparently, that's what the anime lady on the promotional poster is doing. As you know, the most ingenious things are the simplest. This is probably the principle that guided the manufacturers of this single-shot pistol, made of only 6 parts. There are models for the 380 ACP and 9mm ammunition, and the gun is marketed as a self-defense weapon. The price is reasonable, about $119, which is the average price for a lunch at a restaurant in downtown Paris. But what else does it offer? First, there are only 2 parts to be maintained, the barrel and the breech. Secondly, the appearance is not a tribute to fashion trends, but a disguise. The gun looks like a cordless drill. And third, the gun weighs about 10.5 ounces and is 6.5 inches long, which means that it's not bad for concealed carry either.
A simple trigger pull, and that's the end of the snake.
This American product is so good that sales outside the US are controlled by the State Department and require a special license. Meet the Beta Mag, a magazine that's been used in several military operations, including Operation Desert Shield. What you're seeing is a solution for a wide variety of weapons, from pistols like the Glock 17 to rifles like the M16 and the AR-15. The most popular versions are for 5.56, 7.62 and 9mm rounds, and they cost about $270. The magazine holds up to 100 cartridges, is designed for 60,000 rounds, and requires no maintenance other than cleaning and lubricating. The 5.56 by 45mm version weighs 2.2 pounds when empty and 4.6 pounds when loaded.
Here we go.
Did you know that the 22LR cartridge is a record breaker? It holds 2 records for the number of cartridges produced and fired in the world. It's been in production since 1887, but its application range is quite specific. An outstanding example of this is the American 180 submachine gun, which used this cartridge. The main feature is that the 22LR offers good accuracy and ballistic properties, especially at close range, combined with low power. So, why not create a weapon for police and prison officials, ideal for riots and fights? As a matter of fact, it was made. The American 180 is equipped with 4 types of magazines, from 165 to 275 cartridges. It can also fire single shots or continuous bursts at 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute. This is the kind of experiments they did in the 70s, the Bushmaster arm pistol. Its parent was the IMP-221 submachine gun, commissioned by the US Air Force. The military wanted a self-defense weapon for pilots, but later, after receiving several prototypes, abandoned the idea. But they didn't just throw the project away, and that's how the Bushmaster arm pistol was born. Interestingly enough, this gun was not only finished, but also put into production, as it was manufactured for civilian markets until the late 1980s. Weighing about 4.3 pounds, the gun used 5.56 by 45mm NATO ammunition, and the magazines were compatible with those of the AR-15 and M16. It required adjusting the gun to the hand, and it was frankly uncomfortable to shoot and aim. Not surprisingly, the Gwin Firearms Manufacturing Company eventually went bankrupt. Gun enthusiasts have probably heard of the AR7 rifle. It was created in the 1950s, but even today the weapon is popular and recognizable. How's that possible? The devil is in the details. Literally. The AR7 is another survival weapon for Air Force pilots. That explains the design of the rifle. It's assembled from only 4 parts. The buttstock is used for transportation, and the other 3 parts are stored in it. Today's version of the AR7 features an 8-round 22 LR magazine and weighs 3.5 pounds. It requires no tools to assemble either, and the stock is impact and water resistant. The gun is a favorite of hikers and adventurers, and will also interest hunters, says the manufacturer. The price starts at $250. The Glock pistol range is the undisputed king of the arms market. Maybe that's why the company's guns are regular guests at various gun shows and often become test subjects for upgrading. Anyone can modify these guns. All you need to do is find a set like this one. For just $1,300, you can turn your gun into this amazing weapon. A roomier magazine, a more comfortable buttstock, and optics. After all the improvements, you could hit a target at the distance of 299 feet. Not everyone is happy though. I was impressed until I saw the price tag, some users write. What do you think? Blade Runner is an iconic movie about humans, replicants, and all that. During his adventures, the protagonist Rick Deckard uses the Blaster Pro, a weapon which is still being replicated even today. 40 years after the original film was released, so we couldn't make today's selection without them. One version is based on the Charter Arms Bulldog revolver with 44 Magnum cartridge, and its author is quite adamant about its quality. No plastic junk. But another version used not only plastic, but also polymer resin, and it looks quite good on the shelf. By the way, a question for movie buffs. Do you think that Blade Runner 2049 managed to reach the same level as the 1982 classic? The final shot in today's video is fired by this model, published on the popular website ArtStation. On the screens is the creation of a Polish designer. The 5-shot weapon would look quite appropriate in a shooter. The SFG rogon contains elements of a flare gun, combined with a revolver. It's made of plastic and metal. The inventor went to such lengths with the detail that he made a sticker with the number of the patent and the license. Hey, stop being lazy, it's time to use that brain of yours. Welcome to Brain Time. Incredible facts from the past, the present, and even the future. The power of nature and wild animals, amazing facts and unsolved mysteries. You'll find all this and much more here. Subscribe now, you won't regret it.